Joining us tonight is Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch, and Rick Grenell, Tom, and I know that you would agree. I mean, he is historic. What he has done in 3 months is breathtaking. The nation is truly in his debt.
It sure is. And when you compare the other agency heads of the Trump administration, they pale in comparison in terms of transparency. Secretary of State Pompeo, the State Department is a disaster. The DOJ and the FBI are disasters in terms of transparency. For instance, we asked the State Department about the Samantha Power unmaskings. They said they couldn't even tell us the number of unmaskings because it would be a violation of national security to do so. And of course, DOJ and FBI literally are breaking FOIA law by withholding documents from us and requiring us to sue. And then when we sue, they stall it and they stall the release of the documents or pretend that the documents aren't subject to FOIA in the case of text messages. And Grenell shows that when you have agency leadership, you can get transparency. And I just hope Barr and Wray and Pompeo look and start producing as well.
Well, it's really surprising to hear you criticizing those other departments, particularly the State Department, and I'd like to know what can be done here. You say it's a violation of FOIA law. They're claiming it's against the law for them to release the material. I'm going to guess which side you would suggest is correct here. But why in the world couldn't this thing be adjudicated and resolved, or the president just simply order it done?
Oh, I think the president should order agency-wide disclosures, administration-wide disclosures, certainly of the Russiagate documents. I know he's pushed for that, and of course the deep state resists that. There's always a reason not to release information, and we're seeing with the Grenell disclosures, the classification had no good faith basis. There was no national security reasons to hide the names of the unmaskers, no national security reasons to cover up that Susan Rice email, no national security reasons to hide the transcript information, and Grenell came in and blew it all open. And the secrecy is to protect misconduct and, frankly, criminal behavior from being exposed.
And let's turn to California, the lawsuits, Judicial Watch, the Republican National Committee, mail-in ballots. You say it's pure fraud in potentiality, certainly. What's going to be the resolution there?
Well, the Constitution doesn't let the governor of a state just send out ballots and change the law of a state. The legislature under the Constitution has to change the rules. And California state law doesn't even allow Newsom to do that. That's why we sued in court last week on behalf of both voters and a candidate, Darrell Issa, who's running for a seat again in Congress. Look, if you want your vote to be secure and safe, go vote in person. And Governor Newsom flooding the system with 20 million ballots is an open invitation to ballot fraud. We know we have a settlement with Los Angeles County. Los Angeles County has agreed to remove up to 1.6 million names from the rolls that shouldn't be there. We know that California's voting lists are notoriously dirty. We've got the documents and the information showing that to be the case. So if you want voter fraud, if you want chaos on Election Day, this is what you'll get with this out-of-control decision by Mr. Newsom. On top of that, you've got this ballot harvesting rule in California that is also an open invitation to not only fraud, but intimidation. When you're voting outside the polling place, the protections are weak for secure elections and to protect those who want to vote from being intimidated.
And Tom, you know that people are going to say it's California for crying out loud. It's nothing but the usual left coast, left wing, Democratic. Let them stack up all the votes they want. What difference does it make? Pay attention to the states where it does make a difference. Your response to those people.
Well, if it's your vote that's being stolen as a result of voter fraud, you may think otherwise. And certainly California has Senate races and House races and races for mayor and other localities that would be impacted as well. And of course, it's a state-by-state battle. This is not just in California. Nancy Pelosi, for instance, passed a bill that would nationalize Newsom's approach, upend the voter ID laws in 35 states, and have ballot harvesting at a national scale. Look, so our elections are being put at risk here.
And by the way, I mean, you've got 16 states where this is being Perkins Coie is the great Democratic law firm. Great is, by the way, I'm using it in the facetious sense. I mean, they're leading an action to disenfranchise voters across the country, are they not?
Well, that's right. If your vote isn't going to be counted in this circus-like process, your civil rights are being violated. You know, I'm tired of this voter fraud issue. The left using it to attack those of us who support election security as being against people being able to vote. We want to protect the right to vote by making it secure. And when you set up a system, and this is what they're trying to do, they oppose voter ID, they oppose cleaning up the rolls, and obviously they got the ballot harvesting and voter mail scheme going on. That's setting up the field for 2020 and beyond.
Yeah, and 2020 is 5 months away right now. And to be very clear, it's about electoral integrity, and anything that assures integrity of our electoral system, it seems the radical Dems oppose mightily. Tom Fitton, always good to see you. Talk to you later in the broadcast.